Hello guys, hope you're doing well, and as always, if you're new to my channel, I would humbly request you to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Alright, the problem at our hand today is we have a curved beam over here which is starting from point A to B. The beam is being fixed at point A by the pin and at point B by this rocker. Okay, and there are two forces which are being applied at 500 Newton, and this force is basically being concurrent at this point, which is what we called as this point O. Let's say this point is O. We call this point as the point O. They are being concurrent at this point O, which means this force is converging at this point and this force is converging at this point. Okay, and we already know that this pin will be giving us two reactions, ax and ay, and whose direction we have assumed as ax on the negative x and ay towards the positive y, and the rocker will give us one reaction along the positive y axis. Okay, so we want to basically solve this problem, and we can see also this 500 Newton force is making an angle of 10 degrees with the y-axis, and this 200 Newton force is making an angle of 15 degrees with the y-axis. Let's start the problem. We can really make our problem very easy by summing moments about point A, because if we sum moment at A, the two unknown forces ax and y will basically become zero. So let's start the process. Okay, so we will start this process by taking the normal direction B, and its movement from point B to A is basically 2 meters to 2 meters, because the radius of this curved beam is 2 meter, so the diameter will be 4 meter. And again, it is being fixed over here. So what does it mean? It means that this force will take this beam in a direction which is going to be anti-clockwise, so it is positive. What about the other force? The other force, if we calculate over here, is this 200 Newton force. This 200 Newton force will make a component 200 cos 15 and 200 sin 15. Okay, so this is can also be 200 sin 15. So this is also 200 sin 15. So this component will have no moment, but this component 200 cos 15 will have a moment arm as 2 meters. 200 cos 15 into 2. So, and again this force will basically take this curved beam in a direction which is called as clockwise, so you put minus sign. What about the other component, this 500 Newton force? Okay, it will also have two components, 500 cos 10, and other component will be 500 sin 10. Okay, but again this 500 sin 10 component no moment arm, but this component 500 cos of 10. Okay, this component will have a moment arm as 2 meters, so 500 cos 10 into 2, but the minus sign is there because this force is taking this beam in a direction which is clockwise, so you put a sign of minus. So this equation has one unknown NB, which is 343 Newton calculated. Now we have since we have three equations, remember we will always have three equations in this kind of problems. The one problem will be summation of all the moments about A is equal to 0, and the other one we have the equation will be sigma fx is equal to 0, and then the last one will be sigma fy is equal to 0. Okay, so remember these three equations we have. Okay, so now what we do is basically we sum forces about the y-axis. So when we sum forces about, we have this unknown ay. We have already calculated NB, which is basically 343 Newton towards the positive y, ay is towards positive y. But these two forces, the 500 cos 10 force is acting towards the negative y, and the 200 cos of 15 is also acting towards the negative y. So they both will be negative. Only one known in this equation. There is one unknown ay, and we calculate that unknown as 343 Newton again. Now we have calculated and used sigma ma, we have used basically sigma fy. The only equation left is basically sigma fx. You can use this one. So when we sum all the forces along the x-axis. One of the force is basically ax, which is towards the negative x. Remember this is positive x, so minus ax. Now these two forces, the 200 force component will basically be sine 15 is towards the negative x. This component is basically, if you look at it, it is towards the negative x. So you can just, if you want, this axis is basically towards the this is towards the negative x. Okay, so we will say that the 200 Newton sine 15, which is this component, is towards the negative x minus. What about this component? This component for the 500 Newton force, which was 500 sine 10. This component was 500 sine 10, which is this component. Okay, this is towards the positive x. So this is 500 sine 10 and this is minus 200 sine of 15. Again, in this equation of ours, we have Ax as the only unknown, which we can calculate and get it as 35.1 Newton. Okay, so this is how we can solve the problem of a curved beam which is being fixed at by the pin A and being also constrained at point B by means of a rocker. I thank you all and hope this concept really helps you. Thank you very much and you have a wonderful day.